Infused Radio and Indie Loop. Interviews. Bel-Ami.
Baby, I don't know what it is that you do to me, but lately you've been heavy on my mind.
What's up, everybody? I am Ozil, your host of InfusedRadio.net, your online source for new music. Of course, Indie Loop, indie-loop.com, your social loop for all things independent. And speaking of independent, we wanted to bring on somebody who is an independent musician, who's doing it right, who's representing the R&B soul music. We got one of the hottest rising R&B soul acts right here in Houston, Texas. An exclusive interview for you guys. We got my man Bel-Ami in the house. Welcome to the show, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. So listen, we are excited because, you know, R&B soul music is thriving here in Houston, Texas, and you definitely are representing. You're a major component in the scene. But, you know, every artist has a beginning, a genesis, right? The spark of inspiration. So we want to know, what inspired you to follow a career as a musician?
Really, it was something that I was called to do, and I realized it after a series of events. Some of them a little bit unfortunate, but ultimately they worked towards, you know, the greater good. I was in a car accident in 2004, and in that car accident I was ejected, and you know, I was in ICU for a few days. Anyway, long story short, what it did is it gave me a sense of, you know, it's either now or never. And oftentimes we get complacent with where we are in our lives. And I knew that music was something that always pulled at me and was, you know, trying to pull me and get me to come. And eventually I said, you know what, after that, I really have to go for it. Nobody else is going to do it.
There you go. There you go. So you're definitely doing your thing as an indie musician. And I always say this, Bel-Ami, that this is a great time to be a creative, to be a musician. But there's also some challenges now. As an independent musician, it's like a wild, wild west of new media now. It's a new economy where everybody's trying to be heard. You know, it's really hard to cut through the noise as an independent musician. How have you managed your career as an independent musician? And kind of what advice would you give for musicians out there that are trying to cut through the noise and gain this attention when it's so busy out there? What are your views on that?
Well, for one, quality.
Mm-hmm.
Quality will always shine through. Yeah. Secondly, independent doesn't mean alone. Mm-hmm. It just means that you do the majority of the work yourself. So what that does is provides you with I don't know, it gives you a certain perspective that a lot of other musicians never get, ones who are signed from day one. So it allows you to see how the industry moves, how it works, and you can develop a better sense of yourself through that. But yeah, I do it by allowing people to use their gifts as it pertains to me as well. I'm not big on having to do it by myself. Like this, I get I get nothing out of that. Mm-hmm. But what I do get pleasure in is seeing other people do what they're called to do in their lives, mm-hmm. and be able to do it with me, and we both, you know, forward.
So as they say, it takes a teamwork to make a dream work. Yes, so you might be an independent artist, but there's definitely a great team, and you have a great team behind you. So shout out to Erica. I know she's definitely holding it down and helping out, and part of the team.
The Akire Group.
There you go. So they're definitely doing their thing for sure. Shout out to them. You know, I want to talk to you about your music, man, because I was checking it out, and I'm a fan. We're fans of what you do. We play your music on Infused Radio, and you know, we love what you're doing. I love the live soul instrumentation. I feel the passion in your words, the music, and you have a mission statement that you talk about, and I want you to talk about the inspiration behind Speak Life, because I think it's so profound. It is something that that I heard in that statement is so profound and so poetic and so powerful. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind Speak Life. What is that about?
Speak Life developed from it's an urgency and that we all must operate with. And I think as creatives, too often we overlook the power of influence that we have. And so when you don't speak life, when you pass on the opportunity to speak life, inherently you're speaking death. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I don't want to represent myself that way. And I know 90% of the artists who speak death don't really want to to show themselves in that light 100% of the time, because they'll say, oh, that's just my on-stage persona. Well, it shouldn't be too far removed from who you really are if you're really speaking something that is relevant to you. So speak life to me means any opportunity I get, especially when it comes to my creativity, to share something positive that's going to show all things that are beautiful in the world and beautiful in life, and get people to pursue their own missions and their own goals in life, and hopefully pull something out of them that other people have done for me.
That's inspiring, man. I told you, it's poetic, it's deep. I like, see, you told me you were going to get so deep on me, man. Now you got deep. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Speak life. Speaking of speaking life, you can hear it echo through your EP, which was released earlier this year. It's titled Know You. And I wanted to let's talk about the inspiration behind the title, Know You. And also tell us about, if there's one thing you want the listener out there to grasp and feel when they hear that EP, what would it be?
Wow. Well, first of all, to answer your first question, the inspiration behind Know You, it came from a lot of different places. It came from a search spiritually within myself, and I found that the more that I get closer to God, the more that I know about myself. And as that translates to R&B music, which has been my main influence in life, a lot of the topics are love, which is really like a lustful type of love. But I feel like if you are really speaking about love in its true form and its true sense, the way it's intended to be, like there won't be any separation between, your R&B music and your church music, or what is considered gospel music, because gospel is just good news. So why wouldn't you want your R&B to be good news? You know what I'm saying? So that's what birthed Know You. And so each of the cuts on there is centered around that, and I've tried to intertwine themes from R&B, themes from like spirituality into one album, and I like what I put out.
Yeah, and it's a great EP, guys. Highly recommended. It's available on iTunes, right?
Yes, it is. It's available on iTunes, Amazon MP3, Google Play, however you get your music. It's also available on Bel-Ami where you can order it as well.
So if you have internet, which I'm sure all of you do, you can pick up his EP and check it out. You mentioned something that I really like, because when I was listening to your music, there is definitely an array of influences I like. The gospel, the soul, there's live instrumentation, which I'm a big fan of. The R&B scene has been shifting. And it went pop with the electro, and then you're seeing some live instrumentation, keeping it real with back to the R&B soul style, which you're doing, and keeping it alive, which I can appreciate. Where do you see the future of soul music going? Because it seems like now it's expanding, and it started expanding once hip hop kind of came around, and it got hip hop artists started adopting it. But where do you see the future of soul music going?
What I see is more often, it's greater now, the influences that artists have. So people aren't afraid to step out of their genre and bring it back to their genre. And I think as people's musical palettes grow, it's going to be more accepted. So I think what we'll eventually see in soul music is, once everything starts to become a part of it, it's going to revert back to like those things that really separate it. And I don't know when that'll be, but and we'll probably have some new genres created between now and then. But everything is cyclical. It's going to come back around where eventually people will want to simplify, and then at that point it'll be like, oh wow, this is new, and really it just But I find myself in that in a position where I'm still pulling outside influences. I grew up with Boyz II Men and Drew Hill, but I also grew up with Nirvana and Red Hot Chili Peppers, and all these other different influences. My mom plays Art Blakey in the house, and so like I have all these different influences, and I feel like all of them are relevant, and I try to show that in my music.
Okay. Yeah, you can definitely get a taste of all the styles of music and influence, which I love, man. I mean, like I said, I'm a big fan of what you do, and you definitely represent that soul music, the old school soul music, but with a new flavor. I like. So, man, the journey is always constant. I feel like you're just right now at the cusp, at the beginning of your career. What has been the biggest highlight, though, so far? I mean, what's been that moment where you're like, you know what? Not that you have arrived, but that moment where you're like, yeah, I'm doing my thing. Well, what's the highlight so far?
Well, I mean, hands down, the highlight was opening for Bilal.
Oh, yeah?
Like, that's probably my greatest influence musically. But, the moment where I felt like I was like, oh, okay, this is something I could do. I was able to open for Frankie Beverly and Maze this past summer. And just seeing him on his show, like after me, it was like I just got down from that stage. But seeing him, he's a master at work. Crowd control is ridiculous. Like he really didn't have to sing his own music. Like people came there, paid money, like to sit there and sing his songs for him. And in that moment, I realized the power of music. Like his music made people so happy. It gave people such happy feelings, pun intended. And that it resonated with them so much so that they were like, you know what, I'm going to support him no matter what. And they come to his shows, and he's had throat cancer. His voice is not there anymore like it used to be. But it just showed the power of music, and the people are willing to say, come along. You did this for me, so I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to come to your show. I'm going to sing your music because it makes me happy. It makes me feel good.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. If there's an artist you can work with, who would that be?
Ooh.
Yeah, I know that's a hard one because there's so many of them, especially in the R&B soul category. But living or have passed, who would it be? Who's somebody you'd be like, yeah, man, you can go take it there. What would you say?
Ah, man, I'd say probably like Isaac Hayes, or I really would like to work with like a Janelle Monáe. I feel like she's one of those people who's eventually we'll revere her like we do Madonna or somebody like that who really came in and did their own thing when everybody else was doing the same thing. And so yeah, I would love to work with her.
Yeah, she's definitely one of those progressive soul artists. Well, I'm a big fan of her. We play her on Infused Radio as well, big fan. So you just released the EP earlier this year. I'm sure you got a lot of stuff going on. You've been performing, you've been opening for some big name acts. So let us know, man, what's next on the menu? What's next for Bel-Ami?
Well, what's next is continuing to push the EP and really just getting to do more live shows. Well, I really when I'm looking at new artists or any old artist even, the way that I judge them is on their live show. Like, do I get the same feel? In the studio, you get to take all day, and anybody, if given a lifetime, can create a really nice painting. But to do it live is different, and to give people those same feelings live is what I see as the most valuable, because those are the experiences that can't be replicated at all. And so I just want to perform more, reach more people, and I'm working on a full-length LP. So look for that around next year, around this time.
And if there's something that we don't know about, something that you have never shared with the public, give us a little secret, an exclusive for InfusedRadio.net here, what would it be? Something that people don't know that might surprise you. Anything?
Does it have to be cool or corny?
It could be both, man. It could be both. Cool and corny. Usually corny is pretty cool.
One thing I always thought I was going to be in a group. Like, they call them boy bands or whatnot. But like I said, I grew up with Boyz II Men, Drew Hill, Jodeci, 112, Ideal, H-Town, of course, like all of these groups. And that's why my music is so heavily influenced by them. Like, the harmonies that you hear is straight from like those 4-part, 5-part harmony groups. But yeah, I always thought I was going to be in a group, and I never really wanted to be a solo artist. And that was part of the fight as well. It was like, I'm being pulled to do this, but everybody else is not coming with me. And so that was part of why I started. And so that brought me here. So yeah.
And like I said, you're a solo artist, but you have a great team behind you. So you're kind of, you're still working with a big group, and you're doing your thing. Well, cool. Well, listen, man, I want to thank you so much. You know I'm a fan. And we play the music on InfusedRadio.net, and we love what you're representing for the independent culture, for all the indie musicians out there. This is a testimony that it can be done. All you have to do is hard work, dedication, and build yourself around a team that can support you, that can help you, that believe in you, and you can make things happen. All right, it's a little tidbit I want to share with you guys. So once again, check my man out, Bel-Ami.com. Once again, I am Ozil of InfusedRadio.net, your online source for new music, and Indie Loop, your social loop for all things independent. Until next time, I'll see you guys very soon. Peace and one love.
You do that, something about the way you walk, something about the way you talk, pretty dimples when you smile, all the sparkle in your eye, looked at me and oh so sweet, life has now become complete, feeling I cannot explain, you do that thing.
For your newest R&B soul music, check out InfusedRadio.net every Monday. Ozo Mondays for your R&B soul mix. Check it out.